What's going on, guys? Cody Marchand from HideandSeek.com, and this video is the Week 2 lineup builder where we go over our final picks on the Draftkings slate. Real quick, I know it's last minute because it's Saturday when this video is coming out. It's Saturday when this video is being recorded. We're going to go live tomorrow at 11 a.m. I do want to have a like goal just to keep that going. Normally it's been 10. Last time we got up to 15. Can we just hit, 6? Can we just hit 6 likes on this video? If we do, we're going to be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Join us for that. We're going to go over, I'm going to take all your live questions. We're going to go over, the best quarterbacks on the slate, picking between guys. You ask me, hey, Cody, should I play this guy or this guy? We'll talk about your stacks for GPP. It's a lot of fun. We drink some beers. We just hang out, and you don't want to miss that. So if this video gets 6 likes, then we're going to do that live stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. And without further ado, let's hop right into the lineup builder. Hopping right into the lineup builder. Basically, what I had a live stream on Thursday, which was a ton of fun. We had a lot of you guys in there. Basically asked a ton of questions, so I'm going to go over some of those questions here for this video. We're going to do specific, lineup builds because we have a little bit more information than we did earlier in the week. Our lineup has to start coming together right now. Obviously, the first look that we did on Monday is a lot different than, our Saturday lineup builder episode because, we hadn't seen what the Raiders looked like yet on offense. We have Josh Jacobs in a great matchup, Tyrell Williams in a great matchup, Darren Waller in a great matchup, Derek Carr. Basically, that KC-Oakland game is going to be pretty highly owned. If we really quickly look at the games on this slate, there's some games I'm certainly going to have more exposure to than others. I'll probably have some exposure to this Arizona-Baltimore game. Not a lot in the San Francisco-Cincy game. Not a ton in this Chargers-Lions game, but I liked 2 players for each team, so maybe I will have some exposure here. Packers-Vikings game, I don't want much exposure, even though I'm not mad about playing Dalvin Cook. That's what they want to do, a little bit tougher matchup, a little bit tougher salary there. Jacksonville-Houston, I do have exposure to this game. It looks like New England-Miami. New England's looking like a 3-touchdown favorite right now, so you do want to get some exposure there where it makes sense, even though it is New England. It's tough to, determine what's going to be their game plan. Buffalo and Giants, I do want a lot of exposure to this game right here. The Seahawks and the Steelers, probably not too much exposure at all in this game. Seattle is really low prone to turnovers. They're not going to throw the ball a lot. Chris Carson didn't look that great. And the Steelers' run defense looked pretty solid last week. I do like DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett can't be trusted in cash as of right this minute. The Tennessee Titans and the Colts game, probably not a ton of exposure. I do like Delaney Walker at 3,500 right here. For this Dallas and Washington game, the exposures are going to be a little bit different. I don't know what I want to do. We have that information that has come out already that Darius Guice looks like he's going to be put on IR. That means that Adrian Peterson is going to be the top dog there with Chris Thompson taking the passing game work. One thing I do want to point out right there real quick before we get too deep into it is everyone's going to see Chris Thompson had 10 targets in week 1. And I think that everyone's going to just assume that happens again. One of the main reasons that happened is because AP was a healthy scratch. So as soon as Guice was hurt, there wasn't really another backup running back to go in the game. So Thompson got all the work, and that's going to be more split up between, Adrian Peterson and him in this game. So that's just one thing to point out. The game where we're going to be wanting to get a lot of exposure is this Kansas City-Oakland game. It's tough because it's one of those things where you could easily fade this matchup completely because a lot of other players on DraftKings are going to have exposure to multiple players. You're going to see a lot of Patrick Mahomes, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Damian Williams, Travis Kelce, Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Tyrell Williams, Josh Jacobs. There could be 9 players in most people's player pools just from this matchup alone, and rightfully so, right? Patrick Mahomes at 7,500 is one of my top quarterback plays this week. Derek Carr, 5,100, looked all right, and you know how good the matchup is when you play against this Kansas City Chiefs team when you're trailing. Damian Williams at 5,800, love the price. Everyone's going to be afraid of LaShawn McCoy, but Damian Williams still gets the red zone work, still gets the passing game usage. I like that price a lot. Josh Jacobs at 4,700 is mispriced because they were priced already before he played on week 1. We saw 24 touches. We saw leading the league in red zone touches. Josh Jacobs looks like a really good value here at 4,700 in case he's historically not been that great against the running back position. Tyreek Hill is out, so Sammy Watkins, who led all players in week 1 in fantasy points, looks like a smash spot. He's priced up accordingly. Tyrell Williams is not priced up accordingly. Looked amazing in week 1, 4,400. That's a great spot. Other places to look are Mecole Hardman, in my opinion, for the Chiefs. I'm not really going to be down in this range at all for cash. Both tight ends are in play, though, in cash. Darren Waller at 3,300 and Travis Kelce at 7,300. I think there's a lot of great values at the tight end position this week, but one way to get leverage if you think you need it is to have Travis Kelce, who historically just destroys the Oakland Raiders. That's just one way you can go, is the Travis Kelce route, but I think that you can get different. If you don't want to be involved in this game, there's a lot of great players on the slate. You're automatically going to be different, but it's one of those things. I'm not trying to fade this game at all. You fade Patrick Mahomes versus running it back with Tyrell Williams, and Patrick Mahomes has a 35-point game and Williams puts up 30, and you got cute. You started, let's say, Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper instead of those two, which are going to be a pretty similar price. Obviously, the Mahomes is actually going to be cheaper than those two stacked, but with Tyrell Williams, and say they get a 15-point and a 9-point day, then you're just about behind the 8 ball, just trying to be a little bit too cute. Last two matchups, Chicago-Denver, very little exposure here. Two good defenses, two bad offenses. I don't really want to have a lot of stock in Mitch Trubisky and Joe Flacco. That's about all I can say there. And the highest point total game on the slate is the Rams and the Saints. These teams like to go to war. To the best teams in the NFC, I'm going to have good exposure on both sides of the ball. Alvin Kamara is probably my favorite play on the slate. Todd Gurley is going to get overlooked. Michael Thomas destroyed this defense for 200 yards last year. So there's a lot of places you can go. So in a typical lineup build, I'm going to start with my defense. I understand everybody doesn't do it this way. This is kind of counterintuitive to the way that most people play it. But I cared a little bit more about my defense than a lot of people do. Because I think that, it's because I'm searching a player. I think that if you can find a defense that's going to accurately rush the passer, you can accurately predict how much they're going to rush the passer. You can get a good salary. I think you just have an advantage. Like last week, a lot of people were on it as well, but we were kind of on it a little bit sooner than most people on this channel with the San Francisco pick. It's all about the matchup, right? Obviously, I'm a believer in Jameis Winston, which I might be in the minority. But the deal is the offensive lines look awful. We knew that Tampa Bay would be throwing the ball a lot because they had a weak running game. So we attack teams that are going to pass often, and their offensive line is shaky, or the D-line of that defense is strong. And it's not that I especially loved anything on the San Francisco defense. I just liked the spot against Tampa Bay's offensive line and lack of running game. So this week, one of the plays that nobody's on, nobody can blow up in our face, and we could be the only ones on it. But I do like Jaguars. Yes, they had -4 points in week 1. Yes, they're playing on the road in week 2. What do we not like to do? Play defenses on the road. They're also playing against another good team. Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But how do you score points on the defense? You score points when you rush the passer often, the quarterback takes a lot of pressure, and it leads to sacks and leads to turnovers. Deshaun Watson, out of every quarterback in the NFL, faced the most pressure on his dropbacks in week 1 on over 50% of his attempts. This offensive line, they got Laramie Tunsil, but they are not amazing when it comes to... Actually, let's see if the Saints are on that. I don't even know. Haven't even looked at, stats-wise, if the Saints did all right. Saints. Yeah, they only got 7 points in week 1. Let me go. They got 6 sacks. You know what I mean? That's so big. Obviously, that this is definitely in the realm of possibility. But say Deshaun Watson didn't have that touchdown then, that's only 21 points. They had 6 sacks and 1 interception. That's just what I'm saying about Deshaun Watson's game, about the Houston Texans overall. They give up a lot of sacks, and they can't protect their guy. I think the Jaguars with Calais Campbell and company can get after there. Everyone's gonna fade, the good opponent on the road with scoring a -4 point performance. I think it's a good place to start. Is the Jaguars -4? At 2,400. Other places I'm looking to go could be the Bengals. One of my buddies, Ken, I don't know if I should say that. One of my buddies hit me up the other day and said, hey, should we try to get down to the Bengals at 2,600 to get just to have some more money to pay up for one of these wide receivers. And I was thinking about it. I looked at the game, and they did look good in week 1. And this is 4 sacks against a team with Russell Wilson that doesn't typically throw the ball a lot. He doesn't normally take a lot of sacks. He doesn't normally turn over the ball a lot. Jimmy Garoppolo is not the same thing as Russell Wilson. So this actually is a good spot. They're playing at home, and I think that's a good spot to start. Let's start with the Bengals at 2,600. It makes it a little bit different than most of my builds because I've been starting at 2,400 with the Jags, but I think we can do a lot with this, so let's see how this comes out. The next 2 spots I filled are the onesie positions in the tight end and quarterback in whatever order you feel stronger about. I think tight end this week has a few, key plays. I like Travis Kelce. I like Evan Ingram. I like Mark Andrews. I like Delaney Walker. I like Darren Waller. And I like TJ Hawkinson. The thing is, we can do a lot of different things. We can go super cheap with Hawkinson, Waller, or Walker. I think if I'm going to go cheap, I'm going to go them over Mark Andrews. Or we can pay up for Ingram or Kelce. And the first thing I want to establish is if we should pay up for Kelce or Ingram. I do like... let me see. What did Buffalo played in week 1? They played the Jets, so it's tough to compare Ryan Griffin's week 1 performance to what Evan Ingram can do. But Evan Ingram's going to be the focal point of this passing game. 14 targets in week 1. 5,200 is a great price. Probably not going to get this price a lot the rest of the season. I think this is a good spot. Most likely, it's kind of like how I feel with Travis Kelce and Evan Ingram's the same way I feel with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, I like Patrick Mahomes a lot better than Josh Allen, but I think at his price, it's a great pick. Same with Evan Ingram. So it's like maybe I can do Kelce and Allen, or I can do Mahomes and Ingram. But I think that it's important to try to get up in either quarterback or tight end this week. Or you can just do what I do, because I love, Hopkins and Michael Thomas this week. Hopkins, best receiver in the league, 13 targets week 1, 2 touchdowns, just a stud. And it's one of the safest spots at the position. Not a huge fan of wide receivers this week. I don't really like a lot of the plays up top. I like Sammy Watkins a lot at 7,200. Antonio Brown, what do they say? What's the latest? He will be traveling, expected to make his debut with the Patriots. There were reports that Antonio Brown was having a tough time grasping the playbook for New England, which we hear a lot with wide receivers coming over. He's only had a week and a half there, so not even. When did he get picked up on Sunday? Sunday morning last week. So it's been 6 days since he's been there. I think he's been to 2 practices. So I think that's just kind of a generic post where they said, hey, he's not grasping the playbook. This isn't one of those weeks where I see New England really rushing him into things because they are a 3-touchdown favorite. And I'm not sure exactly how needed Antonio Brown will be. At 7K, I'm probably not going to be here at all in cash. It's not really a GPP play I'm targeting, but I'm just super excited to see what Antonio Brown can do in New England overall. Edelman historically crushes Miami, but I'm not really looking there at 6,900. T.Y. Hilton has a really tough matchup against Tennessee. I know that he torched them last year, especially Adoree Jackson. He had about 150 yards and 2 touchdowns on him last season. And he looked great in week 1, but it's still a tough matchup. I don't know if it's scheme or what, but it looks like they could be really good on defense. Tennessee could be a top 3 defense very easily, but 6,800, you have to consider him. Kenny G, I'm not really looking there. Tyler Boyd's a great spot, great player. Probably not going to look there. I might be a mistake, 11 targets in week 1, but probably not looking in that price range. Lockett, A-Rob, Cooper Kupp, Josh Gordon, Michael Gallup, Mike Williams. Not really looking in this range. This is one of my first players I do want to target is John Brown. I do love the connection of Josh Allen, John Brown week 1. Obviously, New York Giants week 1 got torched by Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. John Brown is pretty good right in the middle between Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. I don't think there's a huge gap. I know it's going to sound crazy because I'm not a huge Josh Allen fan. I don't think there's a huge gap in the ability as a passer from Dak Prescott to Josh Allen. I think that this stack could be really, really strong in GPPs and tournaments. In GPPs and cash in week 1 or week 2. So Shepard's out. That's interesting. Wow. So that might make it pretty simple to go. Do we just go this? Do we just have to put in Evan Ingram at 5,200? It sucks because there's such good value at this position in this week. We could easily put in Hawkinson and Waller or Walker at tight end or at our flex. I don't know if we had to do that, but let's just go back to what we were looking at. Wide receivers. We were at like the 5,200 range. I'm definitely going to run Evan Ingram back with John Brown, I think, and Josh Allen. I think that... 5,300. I think to me it's literally only 2 quarterbacks. I'm either playing Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Depends on what I have the money for. So obviously I haven't bought any of my big players yet. Let's just put in one where I'm not getting off of. It's Alvin Kamara at 8,200. This isn't going to be like my final build or anything. Like, I'm not giving away my lineup. I'm just showing you like where my head would normally be at as I run through the slate. He was a monster in week 1, which he always is. He plays really well against the Rams. In a game that's going to be high scoring, give me the best player in the game, which I think is Alvin Kamara pretty clearly. What else do we need? We need a running back, 2 receivers, and a flex, and we have about 6K left per player. Is there any really good values at running back? Yep. Another. Let's just go chalk real quick and just plug in Josh Jacobs. We'll just take it. We know that we want to be attacking this game. KC's not that great on the ground against the opposing running back, and Josh Jacobs is a great value at 4,700. Great player. Led the league in week 1 in red zone touches. This is where I want to start, really looking at where I want to pay up. So I'm going to go to the top of the wide receiver pool. And I don't know if it's going to be Hopkins or Thomas. Hopkins, ribs, seems fine. He's been a beast. I understand the matchup's tough. I'm not going Jaguars defense, so I can play him pretty happily. Michael Thomas, I would play if I wasn't playing Alvin Kamara. I think this is a really good spot for number 13. 13 targets week 1. Probably going to be a similar game script as it was last week for them. And he's just a beast. I think that's a really good play. What about running back? Do I want to pay up for anybody else? I'm not really going to get up to Saquon or Zeke. Dalvin Cook I really do like. I feel like he's going to be such super low owned, 7,200 against, a better defense in Green Bay. But, what Minnesota wants to do is run the football. And Cook does it very well. 21 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7,200. I don't know if I hate that price. Like, what if I put him in flex? Gives me 5,800 for each player. Is there anything like a lot cheaper than 5,800 we like? Let's see some value plays. Mecole Hardman at 4,800. MVS at 4,600. I don't hate that if I'm going Dalvin Cook. Tyrell Williams at 4,400. What we have I don't mind that. And then 7,200 for a wide receiver. Wow, I can get up to Sammy Watkins. Wow, that's a pretty sweet build. So Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, John Brown, Tyrell Williams, Sammy Watkins, Evan Ingram, Dalvin Cook, and Bengals. So let me tell you what I like about that lineup, what I don't like about this lineup. Some things that I do like about this lineup. I like Josh Allen against a weak defense stacked with John Brown. I don't normally like to stack in cash. I don't think it's necessary to have the correlation. I just think that they both have solid matchups. I like that we're off of the main parts of that Kansas City-Oakland stack where a lot of people are going to have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Darren Waller. Yes, we're still involved in that game, though, with Josh Jacobs, Tyrell Williams, and Sammy Watkins. So it's like we still get the upside of that game. We're not on the mega chalk. We're still, Josh Jacobs is probably going to be the chalkiest play in that game. But I don't mind that at 4,700 because it allows me to do some other things that I really like. I like that at 5,200, Evan Ingram is just in a smash spot again with Sterling Shepard out. Could easily see double-digit targets again, which he should. Hopefully Josh Allen's putting up a lot of points for us with John Brown, and Evan Ingram has to come back and really kill it. The only thing that could really kill this lineup is, say, the Giants. Because even if the Giants get into a big lead and they don't pass the ball, Josh Allen has to be chucking the ball. Say the Buffalo Bills get out to a big lead and they're running the ball, then Evan Ingram at least has some, upside there. I think it can work, so I'm not really afraid of the correlation in that game. Dalvin Cook, the price is up. The matchup isn't even great, but I think that he's going to be really low owned in week 2, and I think there's a good reason. I think this Green Bay defense is solid, and I think that Green Bay at home is a very likely chance to win, but this offense wants to run the ball. Dalvin Cook is what they want to do. I think that he's very much locked for 20-plus touches in this game as long as he plays the entire game. And Bengals defense at 2,600 I like a lot. Things I don't like about this lineup. I'm pretty sad that I can't get up to either Patrick Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins, or Travis Kelce. I think that I just don't have enough studs in this lineup. You know, my best players are Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook, which it's fine. And Sammy Watkins is what he is. I'm one of the biggest Sammy Watkins guys in the world, so I'm not afraid of him as like being one of my studs. But to have Kamara and Dalvin Cook when I could be playing against, you know, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce in a lineup, that is kind of scary when I'm relying more on, you know, the John Brown, Tyrell Williams types. So that's something that you need to think about in these builds. I just quickly went through my lineup build. This is kind of the newer information we have now where I'm leaning, which is a lot different than what I was leaning earlier in the week. But if you want to have a full video where we go an hour to an hour and a half, taking any question, building any lineup you guys want, please join the live stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. Like I said, just get this video to 6 likes and we'll do that live stream. If you aren't already, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out a ton of content this year, guys. I really want to be able to spread this channel, this information to more people. I can only do that if you guys subscribe. I appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow.